Here are some news stories from across the world that shows just how great the human race is doing thus far. CNN, the journalistic experts on how to lose ratings, had this to say about the movie Sound of Freedom.
You have a lot of people who are in this world of QAnon who say, oh, they don't know what that is, they've never heard of it, they're just asking questions. With somebody like Jim Caviezel, he is openly embracing it, he's openly using its catchphrases and its concepts, he's speaking at QAnon conventions, and this film is being marketed to either specific QAnon believers or to people who believe all of the same tenets as QAnon, but claim they don't know what it is.
Oh no, what a tremendous blow to the movie. Sadly, it won't be seen by the 2 or 4 ghosts still watching CNN. And it's not just CNN. Static Pebbles really destroyed this movie. Their review perfectly exemplifies the pinnacle of Pulitzer-winning journalism by using the effective principles of senseless labels, obvious double standards, and self-projecting insults. Meanwhile, here is a message from the US Press Secretary and lead climatologist.
This extreme weather, if you will, the extreme heat, and so these conditions are certainly impacting millions of Americans across country in different regions, clearly. These extreme weather patterns are alarming. But for years now, Republicans lawmakers have continued to deny the very existence of climate change that we can now all witness with our very own eyes.
Madam, your incompetence is only exceeded by the incompetence of your boss and his vice. And that's a more eminent threat than climate change. And since we are on the subject of insufferable climate saviors, the founder of Just Stop Oil is fully committed to the cause. And that's why he's sitting on $1 million pension from Shell. But don't be perplexed, okay? Blatant hypocrisy is the core tenet of climate justice. And say what you want about this band of jobless, brainwashed delinquents on an everlasting gap year, but they deserve credit for this. Yes, that's a protest that I support. Why destroy Western civilization by sexualizing its younger population when you can do so by simply crumbling its energy source? I mean, which is more effective? And on the subject of alphabet, rainbows, and horrible flags, here is a word from the most obnoxious blue-haired moron on YouTube.
So when a conservative walks in and like, what is a woman? Like there's like some concrete definitive answer. Gender is very, very, very complicated. When you say one word, there's a bunch of peripheral things that kind of like light up next to that word. But to define a word exactly is very challenging. I think you can be like pro or against trans people, but like at the very least, like treat like language with the due respect it has. But
Exactly. Respect language by calling a man a woman, you bigot. Look, he's right. Gender is very complicated. The doctors assigned him a male at birth, but he grew up to become the bottom in a 3-way relationship. What other proof do you need? Moving on to entertainment, Janelle Monae almost made major news last week when she almost revived her long-buried music career by doing this before the crowd during her set at a music festival. Take a look. You know, in 2015 when she released that song, maybe a sea of babyish fans were literally sucking on her priceless most wanted areola, but right now, all I see on that thing is a bra and a pair of pasties. And the last time the world was made aware of its existence was in a movie that must have been written by a Chinese knockoff version of Agatha Christie. Meanwhile, this fat guy from The Wolf of Wall Street got exposed by his ex for the unthinkable act of a man having boundaries. In Hollywood, that's worse than being Harvey Weinstein. But I get it. You know, normal obscure randos like you and I pursue relationship with people who already share similar boundaries with us. But having a successful acting career while short and out of shape can make you believe that you can turn a hoe into a housewife. That's how you go from a closeted man of standards to the brown-stained underwear of your private text messages making headlines. Meanwhile, in the beauty pageantry world, men have asserted their dominance as the most beautiful women the world have ever seen. That is why the latest winner of Miss Netherlands is arguably the most beautiful woman in all of Europe and America combined. And I'm inspired by such remarkable dentition. If that can do it, then I have no excuse. I mean, that was competing against this and won. What else can you call an inspiration for young boys? Also, we have a more accurate, scientific and inclusive name for the vagina. It is called a bonus hole. And as you already know, both men and women can have bonus holes. Now we move to Africa for some good news. And a good example are the 44-hour water shortage set to hit major South African cities on Tuesday, and the anti-tax hike protest in Kenya that was met with gunshots and tear gas, the standard human rights practice you can expect to find in the cradle of Western civilization. But that's nothing compared to the great news we have in Nigeria, run by the most brilliant and youthful president on the planet. And Nigerian youths have acknowledged 3 paths to success: leave the country, become a celebrity, or break a Guinness World Record. And that's why some aspirational youths plan to organize a kissathon. Yes, they intend to break the 3-day Guinness World Record for the longest kiss. But unfortunately, that's a crime in the state where they plan to hold it, and the governor have promised the event promoters the awesome prize of a 3-year jail term. But this ex-corrupt governor official was caught on camera pocketing bribe like a greedy baboon, and he won't be investigated or charged. And this senator is proud to have married a 13-year-old Egyptian, but compared to his prophet, that's really old. And the shameless pedophile doesn't want any law banning such holy matrimony. I mean, that's a pretty good Muslim. Not to be outdone by the Sultan of Sokoto, who called out Sweden's law that allows the burning of the Quran. Yes, you can do that to a helpless female blasphemer, but not to the greatest book in human history, filled with nuggets of wisdom like this one that calls the eye the leather strap of the anus, or this peaceful passage that promotes perfect peace by asking peaceful Muslims to peacefully kill those who live their peaceful religion. So to Westerners seeking to leave the West for a saner place on the planet, feel free to check out this great continent. You won't be disappointed.